Yeah. You went there too a week ago. Did you go to the vet that day?
No, I didn't.
Hello, my name is Yelena Samofalova.
And my name is Mary Majoris Collins. We're teen reporters from Youth Journalism International, and we're here at the Harriett Beecher Stowe Center in Hartford, Connecticut.
Okay, today at the Harriett Beecher Stowe Center, there's a 24-hour reading of the book Uncle Tom's Cabin to commemorate the 160th anniversary of the writing of the book.
All the time lately. Oh, that's just one of Mammy's. St. Clair always laughs when I make the least allusion to my ill health, said Marie, with the voice of a suffering martyr. I only hope the day won't come when he'll remember it. And Marie put her handkerchief to her eyes.
Like good boys and girls.
I'm here with former Hartford Mayor Thurman Milner, and he just did a reading of Uncle Tom's Cabin here, and yeah. So why did you decide to do this reading today?
Well, it was a very interesting book. As a former civil rights activist, at one time I was very opposed to the book and the language and the term used in the book, but looking at the times of the book was written, it's a very historical book, and it shows the changes, particularly in history here in America from the time of Harriett Beecher Stowe until today. As I got older, I began to realize the language used in those days reflected those times and had no reflection on today. And I think what it teaches people across the world of the way America has changed from the days of slavery up until the days of today's date. And so I felt that I had a sort of obligation to be one of the readers, just to express my opinions and not have people not feel, unfriendly about reading and approaching the book.
Do you think people should read it in high schools?
Well, I think they should. I think, first of all, if they're going to read it in schools, the teachers need to explain to them the type of language that's in there and why the language was in there, and let them understand that this was the language of those days and not a language of today.
Cabin book.
Well, I think that Uncle Tom's Cabin book was so important to let those people in the North learn about the brutality and the horror of one race enslaving another race. And so, with Mrs. Stowe's words, eloquently stated, and with a very compelling story, she was able to cause people in the North to really rally together and to look at the institution for what it is. And so I think that when I did meet Mrs. Stowe at the White House, I said, and she only stands about this high, I said, so this is the little woman who wrote the book that started this great war.
So, what are you doing here today?
Today is the 160th anniversary of the publication of Uncle Tom's Cabin, so we are commemorating that with a 24-hour reading of the book. So we started at 10 a.m. This morning, March 20th, and we'll stop at 10 a.m. March 21st. So full 24 hours of Uncle Tom's Cabin.
Do you think you're going to finish the book?
I think we're going to finish the book. We might finish a little bit early, but we'll repeat some key chapters if we finish early. But it all depends on the speed of the reader, so you never know when it's going to end.
This is the 160th. Did you do it 10 years ago on the 50th?
We didn't. We did another 24-hour reading last year because it was Stowe's bicentennial. She turned 200 last year, so we had a bicentennial celebration by reading 24 hours of Uncle Tom's Cabin, but we didn't do it 10 years ago. We built an exhibit 10 years ago, but this is our second year in a row doing it, though.
Okay, why did you choose to do this reading today?
Why did I? Well, first of all, I just have a tremendous amount of respect for the Stowe Center and for the Stowe staff and all of the things that they are trying to do. You know, the intellectual endeavor that they are trying to do, from the salons that they have to the events, is just the very sort of thing that I would want to be a part of. So when they were starting the reading of the 160th anniversary of Uncle Tom's Cabin, I said, well, I want a piece of that. You know, I'd like to help out in any way I can. And so I asked, and they said, yes, please dress as Lincoln. So that's what I did. And so if anything that I can do to help them out, I'm more than happy to do.
Do you like history more than science?
Well, you know, that's a really good question. I'm a science teacher, and yet here I am portraying a person in history. And when I send out my biographical information, I say, well, you know, there are two questions that have really stuck with me all my life that I'm always trying to answer. And science and history answer both of them. Why are things the way they are? And why were things that way back then? And science and history answers both of them. So when I have free time, I may pick up a science book, but oftentimes it's just a history book. So I'm also interested very interested in history.
What do you think of the book, Uncle Tom's Cabin?
Well, I thought that it's just such a very sad story to show how one race was able to go to all sorts of contortions to continue to enslave another race. And the story of Uncle Tom eventually being killed, and yet other Negroes escaping and fleeing to Canada, just goes opened up the door to those in the North, to say how horrible it is. So it just, in a way that no one else had been able to do. And here we are in the 1852, and slavery had been around for a long, long time.
To make a toilet after a shower and began a housewifely chat with Miss Ophelia concerning cupboards, closets, linen presses, storerooms, and other matters of which the latter was, by common understanding, to assume the direction.
So what's it like working at the Stowe house?
The Harriett Beecher Stowe Center is a great place to work. I have a master's degree in history, and I have a teaching certificate in social studies, so it's a wonderful place to do everything that I love to do. And I love the mission of the Stowe Center. Our mission is to preserve and interpret Harriett Beecher Stowe's historic home and our museum collections, and also to inspire social justice and positive change. And I am very passionate about human rights, so this is a perfect place to work at.
What does the center do pertaining to teenagers and stuff?
Sure. We do quite a bit. We have a lot of field trips that come through here. Our school programs are very popular. So we have high school students, elementary school students, and we also have youth volunteers. So we're always looking for teenagers to volunteer at the Stowe Center. So we participate in programs like Global Youth Services Day, where we have teenagers come and volunteer, and a lot of times we clean up our grounds and do things that are environmental. But yeah, we do quite a bit with volunteers and internships and things like that.
Giving her so many cautious directions and charges that one head less systematic and businesslike that Miss Ophelia's would have been ugly. Never realizes, never can, never will, what I suffer and have for years. If I was one of the complaining sort, or ever made any fuss about my ailments, there would be some reason for it. Men do get tired naturally of a complaining wife, but I
I don't often speak of myself. It isn't my habit. 'Tisn't agreeable to me.
In fact, I haven't strength to do it. But there are points where St. Clair and I differ. St. Clair never understood me, never appreciated me. I think it lies at the root of all my ill health. St. Clair means well, I am bound to believe, but men are continuously selfish and inconsiderate to women. Hello, I'm Yelena Samofalova.
I'm Mary Collins.
And I'm Courtney Pendleton.
We're reporters at Youth Journalism International.
Today we each read portions of Harriett Beecher Stowe's book, Uncle Tom's Cabin.
And I think for all three of us it was a new experience. We've never read the book in its entirety, but it was a book that I think we all know is important, and it was an interesting experience to read it aloud for the first time.
Yeah, I think we should read this book in school because it would teach us a lot about this time period, and it would be more interesting than reading a textbook too.
Yeah, I think it would be a good book to read in school. I think that kids should read it because I don't think very many kids in me and Yelena's age have read this book.
And we'd like to thank the Harriett Beecher Stowe House for the opportunity to be part of it for the first time today.